So are you asking yourself, how do I sell more artwork for more money and get more commissions? Well, here are 3 key factors that I've used in my life that's helped me gain a lot more sales and have tripled, if not quadrupled, my commissions. Because it's not been in a gallery, it's not been in an art fair, and it's not been in a coffee shop. So where has it been?
You know, where do you find this clientele? And the first advice is not at the coffee shop. Now, I, like you, have put in many pieces of work that are beautiful and stunning in various coffee shops, smoothie shops, local restaurants of any sort, because in our mind, this is going to be really good advertising. It gets your work out on the town, and I'm bound to get a commission from this place. But I'll be honest with you, nobody is going into a coffee shop thinking like, oh, I want to go buy a $2,000 painting. It just doesn't work like that. There's even a Daniel Tosh skit where he goes,
you ever go into like a cute local cafe and an artist has their work for sale on the walls? Has anybody ever not walked up, looked at the price and gone, who the fuck do they think they are?
Yeah, and it's true. Nobody is going to coffee and thinking, wow, I got $700 to burn and I really want that painting. Because one of it is set and setting. If you're comfortable giving that painting and putting it on display somewhere as much traffic and busyness and kind of, not carelessness, but nonchalant as a coffee shop, then that is already sending a message to these clients that I don't value that piece that much and I'm willing to put it where it can kind of get damaged or it might get too, you know, there's a lot of traffic that goes through a coffee shop. So how do you find these clients and how do you convince somebody to spend $2,000 to $5,000, maybe $10,000 on a painting? And I find the hardest place is to sell online, because the best way for you to sell any painting of any sort or any commission, any print, photo, client work, original, anything, is when they get to know you. I've learned that when you have a deeper connection with your clients, before you even sell them a painting, the more likely you're going to sell a painting at a higher price with less friction, and also you're gonna get a second and third one. Most of the commissions that I've done, you know, if I sold a print for $950, they loved it, they're happy with it, they learned, okay, the quality is good, what else can I get from them? And then I've sold them a $2,000 surfboard, and then they commissioned another one for a different location, and then they got 3 more prints. So, you know, first thing is to never try to go and pitch them and sell them your work. The best way is to get familiar with people, have good, genuine conversations, and if you can talk about your work in an enthusiastic, not self-indulgent way, but if you're really excited about your work and you're clearly just passionate about it and you're just showing them like, yeah, I'm working on this and this thing's cool and this is the thing, you usually get, how much is this? And the less you can try to sell somebody it, the more likely you will be able to sell somebody it. For instance, like if I came down, and I'm sure you've gotten this all the time, but you'll be walking across restaurants on like the high street and somebody comes out and tries to shove a menu in your face, it's overbearing, it's way too much. And maybe you would have gone in that restaurant if it was smelling good and looking good, but the fact that if someone's kind of shove it in your face, you're like, one, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with you? And your natural instinct is to push it away. And that happens with your artwork as well. If you're trying to go and be like, buy my thing, then people will be like, I'm not comfortable at that point in time. But if you're just saying, if you go into kind of it like passing, like, oh, I'm working on this thing and I'm really passionate about this thing and this thing is getting me excited and I did a commission for this, and you're just talking about it as if you're gonna gain nothing from this person and you're just excited about your craft, you're way more likely to get support, even if it's, you know, a small piece in the beginning and then later down the road, they want to get a big commission from you. Like once you get your foot in the door and you can show them that you can do something really well once, then that means they're way more comfortable doing a much bigger purchase the next time. even if you have a small commission where you're not making that much money, always try to knock it out of the park. Because I can't even tell you how many times I've done something where I've lost money on it, but in the long run, it's brought me way more client work. They've networked it out to other people, and it's been such a huge asset. Take it from someone who has gone on both ends of the spectrum. I have completely dove into my craft and made that 100% of my living income. And then I've gone back the other way where I've done my day jobs and my day work and have only done that craft on the, as not quite like a hobby, but on my free time, I'll do commissions and stuff like that. And where you lie in is really the best way to do it is start with your day job and slowly try to move the needle over to where more of your time is allocated towards your craft and more of your income is coming from your craft. But the big thing, what you don't want to do is be reliant on that commission to pay rent. That's one of the worst things you can do as an artist. And I've done it myself where, I work with epoxy and it's very expensive. It's $120 a gallon, and I've done paintings that have done 40 gallons on them. So you can see how quickly things start to get expensive. That's before rent, before paint, before these things. So if I have a mistake where it adds 3 days of my, it adds an extra day to my time, or I make a mistake and I have to spend another $100 on another gallon, these things start to add up, and I can guarantee you they will start to eat at your mental health. Because you start allocating like, okay, this has been this amount of time and I need to make this amount an hour and I've got this amount to pay. And every mistake that you do, you have this extra pressure of rent and these bills pressuring onto you. And that's gonna limit your creativity. Where if you can have a day job that doesn't eat most of your energy and your soul and your time, and can keep most of your bills kind of at ease, then that's gonna free up your spiritual energy to actually create the things that you wanna create. And then you don't have this rush to sell anything. You can make an amazing commission, or not a commission, you can make an amazing painting or table or whatever because you wanted to. You can add that to your portfolio, and if it sits for 3 months, then so be it. That's gonna be value down the road, but you don't need it right now. Once you start equating that painting gets me this food, then you have so much unnecessary stress, and it's just gonna cause you to unravel. We're already sensitive and emotional people, so putting that unnecessary stress is not gonna be conducive to a creative, kind of prosperous ecosystem or life. So what I did that I found the best to work is, and I actually got way more commissions from this because I was able to build personal connections, but I would teach kite surfing and do my commission work at the same time. So the nice thing was when I was in Florida doing both full time, we only have wind for a certain amount of time, maybe a weekend, 4 days. It's not like it would be weeks on end. So I could really crank out a lot of lessons, work a lot of hours, get a nice little chunk of change in my pocket that can help pay for all these expenses. At the same time, I'm networking with people who are comfortable spending $300 or $400 at a time. And it's very easy to walk that conversation into my extra work. And usually now that we've had this relationship where I've taught them kiting, I've spent several days with them, I've protected them, keep them out of danger, strapping them up to a flying Ferrari. They feel way more excited and keen to not only keep supporting me, but then have this original painting or this print of this beautiful work, and then they have this story of like, this is the guy who taught me kiting, and da 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 da. I can't even tell you how. It took me a while to figure it out, but there's been a direct correlation between my kite lessons and my kite instruction and my commissions. I fully left Grand Cayman, and for a while before I was helping my buddy Anthony in St. Pete kiteboarding, there was that moment where I fully dove into my commission work, and I got a few from my kiting stuff. Those guys were still good, but then after a certain point, I had not taught kiting in like two-ish years, And my commission work really started to bleed out because I was doing the normal things, the weekend fanfares and the coffee shops. And I was maybe getting a $30 sale here and, you know, a $100 sale there. But it's not like I was doing $100 every day of work. It was very sparse and sporadic. And then the moment I started teaching kiting again, I started developing these new relationships. I can't even tell you how much more sales I got from that. And that continued all the way into the Caribbean. You know, I would teach these people and I would start with one piece, and one person bought a hand-painted surfboard for $2,000. And then they're like, oh, I want you to do this whole wall. And they did $9,000 worth of prints like that. And I'm thinking I should have charged more. And I constantly have this issue of, I do these commissions because I don't want to turn away $2,000 when I really should have said it's $4,000. And then that would have gotten me so much farther ahead. These people who are already spending $9,000 to print their wall, you know, is it a big jump to $10,000 or $11,000? And it's not, but that little extra bit of cash is gonna help you just get that much more ahead and be able to really like grow your worth. Because at the end of the day, it's not that people want to spend money, but if they're investing in artwork, it's great when it has a lot of value. So if you're an artist who has a lot of value and this is a piece that they could potentially, it becomes a true investment, that's gonna be a huge factor in how much they spend. And I'm sure you've heard it from other people, but the people who are more likely to spend more money end up being way better clientele just for the nitpicky stuff. When you get the people who are like, it's a stretch to do $500, they're gonna take too much of your time. It's gonna be too taxing, and you're gonna put too much, you're gonna stick your neck out too far for something that you're not gonna be able to get it done in a week. And then now you've done, you know, you wanna be doing $200 a day, and now you did $200 a week in commission work. So that's just tricky. The moral of the story is build connections, be enthusiastic about your work, and don't be salesy. Give it an easy, frictionless platform for them to commission or buy or do whatever.